All right, welcome back to another podcast. Today on the program, we have Bracha Goetz. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's first start today's program. Want to talk about your overcoming food addictions. A lot of people that I work with have food addictions, and a lot of people in general have food addictions. So, if you wouldn't mind sharing your story of where this kind of started for you with your food addictions and how you overcame that.
Mm. How did it start? I'm not exactly sure how it started. Um, I, I documented this whole thing in my memoir, which is called Nourish the Soul, Filling the Emptiness Within. I compiled this. I took excerpts from my diary, which I started at age 12, to show like gradually developing the food addictions. And then it goes on for it becomes a journal and letters, and I filled in the missing pieces. It's 20 years from ages 12 to 32 of developing the food addictions and healing from the food addictions. So um and I take it's almost like a documentary because you go with me when I'm having these uncontrollable binges, like experiencing it, and then what I would do is I would fluctuate between these horrible binges and very restrictive dieting, so that from looking at me, people couldn't tell how I was suffering because I wasn't obese and I wasn't so emaciated. Like, you couldn't tell that I was really living in a prison of addiction for a few years, which got worse and worse.
Sure, and I think find that with a lot of people. There's not an outwardly sign of trouble to most
Right,
people,
right,
even with diabetes. A lot of people can be in really good shape and on the inside could have heart disease,
right.
and I think that we find that with a lot of people. So you're starting early, which I think would you say that many food addictions do start early in our childhood and younger adulthood?
Probably they do, but some don't. I mean, some people develop them later, but people use food as a comfort very early on. uh, Parents do that with children, and even in schools, it's very common to try to pacify painful situations with comfort food. Yeah. And
Yeah, I
and
think. Go
people
ahead.
get stuck there, We get stuck with doing that to ourselves later on in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see a lot of parents with younger children is sometimes it's a way to pacify their discomfort or their anger or whatever behavioral issue they're having. Sometimes we just naturally give them something to make them feel better. And I think that starts with all of us early
Yeah.
on where
Yeah.
we associate food with the wrong associations.
Right. Exactly. It it it, it it's covering up the pain and not really enjoying the pleasure, and or used as a distraction also. That's another way it's used, to distract from the pain. Um, right, and to bring immediate comfort, but it doesn't bring a lasting pleasure. It brings an immediate comfort. That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like we get involved in a vicious cycle of just constantly feeling down, feeling better temporarily, then feeling down again, feeling, and then you throw in the guilt of
Yeah.
knowing that you're in this situation, and so that
Yes.
just adds a whole bunch more stuff on top of that.
Exactly. If there's the show, I don't know if it's still going on, My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah.
The show, the people, they almost always say the same thing. they get to this point and they say food is the only thing bringing me pleasure anymore in my life. They're stuck, that they're not getting pleasure from anything else. That's it. It's taken to the extreme, but we can see what it could be like in when we see the people suffering on those shows. You know, they have no other pleasure in their life than that immediate moment, and it lasts so short. It's just these few seconds when the food is in their mouth and they're experiencing that pleasure, and then they're left with even more emptiness afterwards. So it, like you said, it becomes a vicious cycle because the hole keeps getting deeper and deeper the more we feed it with our addictions. We desperately try to fill the emptiness with external things, and it never helps because the hole is not a physical hole, it's a spiritual hole. Until we figure out how to really fill that hole, we're just making it get deeper and deeper.
No, I like the way you put that. It's a spiritual hole, and then therefore, if you're trying to fight it from a non-spiritual type of solution, there's no way you can fix that.
Exactly. And you only get this temporary comfort. And meanwhile, it's a bottomless pit. And the pain is increasing rather than decreasing. When you finish the whole bag of potato chips, or the whole box of chocolate chip cookies, or the whole container of ice cream, you feel much emptier than the container. You're left with emptiness, not with pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, what was your source of strength? How did you get beyond that and get to a healthy place?
I, I I was searching for years, and that the search began at age 12. You know, just because there was an increased consciousness, the body starts changing. I started wondering about life, and I was I just started asking questions. What's the purpose of life? I tried many different things to find that out. It really interested me. Like, I remember my sister saying to me, "Who cares?" You know, like, not everybody is so interested in what's the purpose of life, but I have a feeling that addicts probably are. You know, some souls are more exposed than others, and we feel that emptiness. If our souls are not being nourished, we feel it more intensely. Not every soul feels that so much. So I think people that experience depression, anxiety, addictions, they're people with exposed souls, and they are more aware of the emptiness. And without knowing how to nourish our genuinely hungry souls, we suffer. So the suffering just increased. I ended up trying all kinds of things. Eventually, thank God, in high school, I turned to actually doing well in school and like studying and learning about everything. I figured maybe I'm going to find the wisdom I'm searching for. So I just started really, studying, and I did well, and I ended up going to Harvard, and there at Harvard I felt this is it. I'm at like the pinnacle of wisdom. Um, Maybe I'm going to find what I'm looking for. Um, Actually, I also like kind of ran away from my background and met all these people at Harvard. I met people that were like wealthy and powerful and famous, which was not my background at all. And getting to meet them, I think, helped to take away an illusion for me that there's that could bring happiness in life, fame and fortune and power. I got to see up close that doesn't do it. Like, I felt like I reached a pinnacle early in life and got to see there's nothing much up at the top of the mountain. Like, those people too are looking for something more. That was a really great thing to see. Um, and in fact, I was at this garden party in where it was like a really exclusive garden party that I got invited to, and meeting these people and seeing them just kind of look beyond who they're talking to for something more. And at this beautiful party in May, suddenly the cloud filled the sky filled up with storm clouds, and there was a tremendous thunderstorm. And I remember thinking, all these rich, powerful people, they can't stop the rain from coming down on their party. Like, I got to see there's nothing there. So then what is there? At first, it left me feeling even more empty because I felt that doesn't bring lasting joy in life either. So what does? It was even more kind of a sense of despair. I would say the food addictions got worse in my years at Harvard. And then afterwards, I went on to medical school, and there I really hit rock bottom. I would say the behaviors became the most bizarre, and you put a lot of energy into hiding what you're doing. So it was exhausting, like keeping the whole thing up. And that summer, I went to I remember telling my boyfriend at medical school, like divulging to him one day everything that I was doing. And he said, "Why don't you meet with the psychiatrist here for the medical students?" So I went to meet with him. And it's interesting because he was a Japanese man. And he said to me, when I described what I was going through, he said, "It's really strange, but I feel like what you keep saying is that you're looking for something spiritual. I have a feeling like when you go to Israel this summer, you're going to find what you're looking for." I had like just a 6 week break between my first and second year of medical school. So he wasn't coming from my background at all, but yet he perceived that. He could see this. It was amazing because I couldn't see it. I went to Israel for 6 weeks that summer, and I didn't come back. I took a year's leave of absence from medical school, but then I didn't return. And I totally changed my whole course in life
What did
because
you find in Israel?
I found like the deep spiritual wisdom from my own heritage that had been just thrown away. You know, I, I I was brought up Jewish, but my parents didn't have education in that, or know about it, or I didn't really know that there was spirituality there. Like, I was looking into Eastern religions and Christian Science, other things, but I didn't think of my own religion as having spirituality. So I got to learn about deep spiritual truths that summer. And I, I would say that the essence of everything I learned is gratitude. And that is what began to change my life. Recognizing that if we don't experience gratitude, then we never feel fulfilled in life. That that's the missing ingredient and really the secret to happiness. So that's what I was able to, like, uncover that buried treasure. And ever since then, I went on a whole different path of, I would say I became a different kind of healer than I expected to be, but through through my books and just helping people and through my family, you know, I was able to no longer have a need for the food addictions once I found fulfillment through live through practicing more gratitude in my life.
That essentially became the purpose in life because you're asking yourself, what is the purpose of life? So then the purpose of life, I think we all eventually come to, is that serving others and being grateful for what you have and the position you've been given, whether that be a position of serving or whatever that position is. So I think they run together, do they not?
Yes, serving others is one of the aspects of gratitude. Um, it can come in so many different forms. There's really infinite ways to practice gratitude. And like the guidelines I follow, from morning till night, it's gratitude practices. That's how I've changed. Yeah.
Excellent. Was there a component of, and this kind of goes to, as we talk about the plant based diet, I believe that this is my own personal belief, but if you do have gratitude and you do have sincerity and compassion for other living beings, there's only one way to eat then under that umbrella. And I understand there's more ways that people can get to health, but I think if you're trying to get to the concept you're speaking of, which is gratitude and appreciation, for me, I think the plant-based diet ties into that. Was there any part of the plant-based diet that spoke to this, or was it just that because you feel better about yourself, you're therefore going to nourish yourself better?
Well, both of those things are true. Exactly. When we come to appreciate that this world, this garden, this incredible garden was given to us. Because when we are in a state of addiction, we're feeling a scarcity of pleasure in our lives. That's why we have to keep stuffing our faces to keep the pleasure coming. Because when we stop stuffing our faces, it ends. But if we begin to recognize that there is so much, there's an abundance of pleasure, it's not a world of scarcity, that completely changes how we look at the world. um, like I would say the world turned gray in those dark years for me, and the colors have returned because we can see in the garden all the beauty, and we see all the love, with like all the plants that were made to with so much wisdom packed into them, so much love packed into them, that each one is such a gift for us. So when we begin to treat ourselves with that loving compassion, we eat better too, because um, we we have gratitude for our bodies. We want to take care of our bodies, and we begin to appreciate how amazing all these natural foods are in the world that were given to us, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. When you have an appreciation for the design of our body and just the miraculous way it can heal itself,
Yeah,
if you really feel a sense of appreciation for that design and awe, you have
yeah,
somewhat of an awe of it,
yeah.
uh, there would be only one way to eat, because anything else is not feeling appreciation and of the design.
Yeah, it's a way to eat. It's a gratitude way to eat. It's a grateful way to eat. That's really what it is.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
when like if you compare an orange to an orange flavored tangy taffy, like an orange flavored tangy taffy is just made, not made with wisdom and love. It's made with greed. It's not made with any kindness for you to help your body. It's not really food, because food helps to maintain your body's systems. It helps you to grow in good ways, so these are like food like substances that were designed in laboratories to be addictive, because they have like unnatural amounts of salt and sugar and fat that are never found in nature.
Oh, I love the way you put that. The food is made, one food is made with kindness and love,
Yeah,
and one food is made with greed. I
yeah,
love that. That is a great way to explain it. Definitely, because you
yeah.
you take the like you just did. You took two different foods, very similar, and just see what is the motivation behind the food. One
Yes,
food was given to you to provide fuel and provide health, and one
yes,
food is basically provided for two things, I believe. One, to make money, and number two, to get you to continuously keep coming back for that food.
yes, exactly. They both provide pleasure.
Yes.
The orange provides pleasure, and the orange flavored tangy taffy provides pleasure. That's what they have in common. That's what the labs are trying to create, the bliss factor. You know, the perfect amount of crunch that will get you to eat the next potato chip. I mean,
Right.
they've designed it perfectly to overload the pleasure centers of your brain so you become addicted to these non-food to these food-like substances, but they're masquerading as food. they're they're in a disguise of being food, but the real food is like designed to totally love us up. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I always say is that real food is self-limiting. Like you're never going to find someone, yeah, I got really addicted on oranges,
exactly. You,
you know.
you just don't eat a whole bag of oranges. You
Right.
don't, but you eat a whole bag of potato chips. It's designed a completely different way because it has this fiber in it. It fills you up. You just don't feel like eating the entire bag of oranges.
Exactly. For sure. Excellent. Well, let's move on to a couple other things here. You did mention your books, which you're a very prolific book writer, and it seems like the majority of the focus for you is children and helping them start with the life of gratitude, since that seemed to be a catalyst of your struggles. So, why don't
Yes.
you talk a little bit about the picture books and all the books you have for helping children grow from a position of gratitude?
Gratitude is a life skill. The earlier we can teach it to children, the better, because then you're on a trajectory. We can always play catch up in life, thank God. There is neuroplasticity. We can always change our brains to become more full of gratitude. Each connection that we make, the neurons that fire together wire together. So the more we practice gratitude, the more gratitude pathways we create in our brain, and it becomes easier and easier to practice gratitude. When you first practice gratitude, when you're not used to it, it's like you go on a gravelly road that no one's driven on, and it's awkward and weird. But once you create the grooves in the road, it becomes easier and easier. We create these neural pathways. So if we could, the more we could help children to become grateful people, the younger they are, the better. So my main focus has been on the children's books for children. So far, there are 45 books, and they're having an impact on really young children. So they begin to see the world through grateful eyes. I write the books I wished I had as a child. And like one book, for instance, is called The Happiness Box. Um, this book is about a boy. He's never happy with anything he gets. So one day, his parents get a washing machine in this big cardboard box, and his father gets this idea. Guess what? This happiness box just arrived for you. So you go inside the box, and all you could do is think happy thoughts. He's like, oh gosh, this is weird. So he goes in the box. What am I going to think about? I'm not happy about anything. He finally comes up with a few things he's happy about. Then he gets used to it. He goes in there. Whenever he's not feeling happy, he starts going in the box and getting happy. One day, he goes away. He's on a bus and he's feeling lonely, and he doesn't have the box with him. So all of a sudden he realizes, wait a minute, I do have the box. The box is right there with me. It's above your eyes, below your hair. There's a box right there for everybody. And and the book ends by telling you, if you don't want to start using that happiness box, start with a cardboard box. And that's what children do. They Homes are filled when they get the book. They get these cardboard boxes like at appliance stores, back of the appliance stores, any place, and they start practicing in their happiness boxes. So it's it's changing lives, and it's that's just one example of, I have many different, like the mother who always said yes is a child fantasizing, what if my mother always said yes and got me everything I wanted? So this book, it goes through everything happening, and you never see from the picture. You never see from the words what's happening. It's all told in the pictures. Oh, isn't this great? They can pick everything. I won't care at all. Why should I stop them? Let them have a ball. They can fill up their rooms with all kinds of stuff and keep bringing home more. It's never enough. But as you see in the pictures, you see it gets more and more dysfunctional and just awful in the home as things go downhill with the child being able to get whatever the child wants. So the pictures tell the story, but the book doesn't. And at the end of the book, she's going, it will be great, won't it? I think it's you, and the children read the books and they totally get the message, even though the message is never said. Oh my gosh, like it's not that great. It, it, to have all your fantasies of whatever you want. No, we need limitations in life. Like it's good for us to it's about learning to appreciate what you already have. Because like I have another book, it's called Don't Read This Book. It's about it's about that voice inside our heads that's always getting us to focus on what we don't have. We all have this. We don't realize it. We think we're the only person with this. But I'm letting children know early on in life, we all have this voice in our head. It's the inner critic telling us, you'd be happy if you just had that. You need this. You're missing that. So if you realize that that voice is talking to you all day long from the minute you get up, the minute you recognize it, it loses its power. So this is giving children back their power, and they begin to understand, when I'm feeling miserable, it's because I feel like I'm missing something. Wait a minute. What do I feel like I'm missing? Oh, okay. I'm going to switch this around and be grateful for what I already have, not focus on what I'm lacking. And it's just a huge change. So giving children these tools early in life makes all the difference.
Absolutely. Where do you draw your inspiration for these stories? Are these where does this inspiration come from?
Okay, well, this book, The Mother Who Always Said Yes, I wrote it 2 years ago. I was hanging out with one of my granddaughters, and she said to her mother, can I have some candy? Her mother said no. She turns to me and she said, when I'm a mother, I'm going to always say yes. I'm going to let them have candy, my children, whenever they want. And I go, oh, really? Wow, I wonder what that would be like. Ah, that's how it happened. So
Oh, that's great.
she calls this her book. She tells everybody, this is my book. She's like,
And what was her reaction when she read the book?
she loves it. She gets the message. It's great. Yeah. I mean, but really, most of my ideas come, you never know how they're going to come, but most of my ideas come early in the morning. I keep a pad by my bed, and I don't want to wake my husband. It's the nighttime, and I scribble in the dark. I could barely read what I wrote in the morning, but it's usually just before dawn. So it's like a little bit light out, and it comes down like rain, and I try to catch all the drops and get it on paper so that I can write the book. Like one of my books is called Let's Stay Healthy. I wrote it during the pandemic because parents were asking for a book. My children are home all day. They're eating junk. They're not exercising and they're staying up all hours. How can you explain to children? Because my background is in science. I love explaining public health. I love public health. So that's what I did. I explained in the book exactly why it's good for us to get enough sleep, to eat healthy foods, and exercise. So I explain it like in a joyful way, so children get that. So that book came to me. I I was saying that would be a great book to write. Parents are asking for it, but I don't know exactly how to write it. So I go to sleep. And a few days later, I wake up with the title, and the whole book is written, and I have it, and I just have to get it down on paper. So, yeah, I do ask God for help with these things. So, give me the words if this book is meant to be written, and thank God if it's meant to come, it comes. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm all my most uh, deepest intellectual things and stuff that I get done is almost always early in the morning. It just for some
Yes.
reason my brain is the freshest early in the morning.
Well, this is it. I just learned about this recently. What we what we learn, what ancient wisdom teaches, is that our souls kind of go up. They re-energize, they reconnect during the night. It's like almost a form of death. And then they return to us refreshed, renewed. The neurological connections have been made. And that's why at that time of day it comes. And we actually say in my guidelines, the first words out of my mouth are thank you, which I say in Hebrew, thanking that my soul was returned to me for a new day of life each morning. Those are the first words. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. Well, speaking on those terms, I think this ties right into the other subject I want to touch on is your PDF that you can download for free at your website is the pleasure ladder.
Yes.
So speak to the concept of that the pleasure ladder.
Yeah. This is totally not coming from me. This is super ancient wisdom. And it's when I learned that this is all part of what just really nourished my soul to it gave me the wisdom I was searching for about life. So there's 5 rungs on the pleasure ladder, which correspond to these 5 fingers. It's showing us we have the ability to bring pleasure into our lives. It's in our own hands at any moment. So we can do it. It's not out there. It's not that next thing you're going to get. It's being grateful for what you already have. That's the amazing thing. So these 5 levels, they also correspond to the 5 levels of the human soul. The lowest level of the soul is the part that's attached to our body. And this level of the soul is it experiences pleasure from through all our senses. It's the sensory pleasures that we experience. So that's the natural foods, moving our bodies, exercising, swimming, dancing, yoga, whatever you love to do, um, music, spending time in nature. These things were designed to bring us pleasure through our senses. We were given these 5 senses. So like I was telling you, my favorite example is the orange because the fruit are, before they're ready for us, they're green, they're camouflaged in with the leaves to protect them until they're ready for us to eat. Then, when they become the most beautiful, the brightest colors, the most vivid, so they're a pleasure for us to see, they're a pleasure for us to smell. All our senses are experiencing them. And then when we unwrap this gift, it's individually packaged. When we take off the peel, it's amazing. The sweet juiciness is kept in for months. The orange that you hold in your hand, it's waiting for you. It was made to give you pleasure. And after you experience it, you find the seeds. The seeds have the potential to go back into the earth as they were meant to do and become infinite more trees and oranges, unlike the orange flavored tangy taffy where even the wrapper pollutes the environment, and it just damages you. This orange is just does. I put a smiley face on it because it's like it's just filled to, and the orange that you hold is filled to give you infinite loving compassion, and it's filled with such incredible wisdom as it can just become so many more oranges too. This is just one tiny gift in the incredible world that we've been given. So wow, I mean, it just, there's an abundance of pleasure, even on this lowest level of pleasure. If we just spend time on this lowest level of pleasure, we would have so much more happiness in life. Yeah.
And how do the ladders, the rungs on the ladder? Because you have physical pleasures, which you just explained, then you have
Yeah.
love, meaning, creativity, and then the ultimate is the top of the ladders, which is
Yeah.
transcendence. So
Yeah.
each rung on the ladder is an important step of the process, right?
Yes. But you know what? And sometimes you can be on several levels at once.
Sure.
It's really interesting. Each level up brings more of a sense of connection, and each brings more lasting pleasure as you go up. Um, but like, even on this level, it's just so wonderful. You feel so much gratitude for an orange. It's like you're feeling grateful for an orange. Now you're moving up and you're feeling grateful for another being in love. Love. So I said we could do all of these things. We could do them. They're empowering. We could do them on our own. We think we need someone else to experience love. But this ancient definition of love is focusing on the virtues of another. They don't even have to be around you. In prison, a person could could think of a grandmother that once did a kindness for them and be uplifted and inspired to become a better person through experiencing that warm emotional feeling of love. Um, when you're in addiction or depression or anxiety, you are feeling, you're very self-absorbed. And when you begin through gratitude, you connect to a thing. Like, at one of my lowest points in life, I just connected to a tree outside my window. I still saw something beautiful in the world, when I had to regain my trust in life again. Um, so you can begin by just connecting to a raisin. You could get that small, and then or you can connect to another being. What do you appreciate about another? That's love. What do you value about someone else's spirit? That you can bring into your life. You can express it or not. You can text somebody and say, I so appreciate what you did for me the other day. And all of a sudden, you're filled with this warm emotional feeling. And suddenly, you don't feel like eating another potato chip. It just fills you up like right then and there. It's amazing. It works instantaneously. And going up the ladder, doing something good and meaningful. I was on another show, and when I got to that level, the host said that he was he was feeling lonely and miserable, and he bought a whole pizza pie, and he finished two slices, and he's about to plow through the whole pizza. There's a knock at his door, and his neighbor needs his help with something. I don't remember. It was like to move furniture or something. He comes back from helping his neighbor. He looks at the pizza, and he puts it in the fridge for another day. He doesn't need to inhale it anymore. Why? He filled up.
Yeah.
He filled up. He felt so grateful that he could connect to another, do something for someone else. He felt good. He did something meaningful, even if it just lasted 2 minutes. He felt grateful. So going up even higher is creativity. It's when you put a unique part of yourself into the world. That's an even greater pleasure. Like when you're doing something creative, you don't feel like eating or sleeping, and you're beyond time. Like time just passes. You're in a zone that you're on such a high. So it's an amazing state to be in. And when you're doing it through gratitude, it changes it. It takes the ego out of it. It's totally different. Then you're not afraid of failing. You could you could just show up any place and perform because you are sharing. You're just recycling this amazing energy in the world. It's flowing through you into the world. It takes that ego away that you are afraid I'm gonna flop or something like that. So what? Like if I play around with this book and it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You're just trying. You're just seeing. It puts more playfulness into your life. The highest level is transcendence. It's when you recognize we are all connected, and we're all connected to the same source energy, which is flowing through all of us. It's it's it changes us completely because we recognize that inside of each of us is like infinite love, because we're all part of that same source of infinite love that created this orange. So this is um it just changes your whole way of looking at life, because when the world felt great to me, it's because I didn't trust the world, I didn't trust life, and I didn't trust myself. If you begin to open up to the possibility that this world is really not out to get you, that everything is being done for you, not against you, and you just let that possibility exist, then everything opens up, and that's when you begin to see the possibility of things to be grateful for all around you.
Yeah, it's a complete change of mindset. It's a completely different way of looking at and then you can apply it to any situation in your life, really.
Yes.
That's what I feel is that once you get this mindset thing down, then you can apply it in business, you can apply it in relationships, you can apply it at work, you can apply it in, your relationships with your kids,
Yes.
every area, right?
Yes. How did it happen for you?
With the health,
Yes, your huge change. I
well,
read that you yeah.
I've always been a very positive person. I've
Mhm.
had some pretty majorly horrific things happen to me as I was a child, and I just, there's a time early in my 20s where I drank a lot and got into some drugs and stuff, but it was a short period of time. But at some point, I just said, I'm not going to let this define me. It's a part of my history. It's a part of my story, but it's an early chapter in the book. and there's a lot of chapters to be written yet, and I don't want every chapter to sound the same, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
And so I just made a decision that I'm not going to let it define me no matter what. Which means which doesn't mean that you don't give it weight, but you don't give it power.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what set it off for me. And then the same thing with the health transformation is I just didn't want to I didn't feel like I could really love myself if I was treating myself so poorly, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How, what made the turnaround happen for you?
Well, my father died.
Mm-hmm.
He was very unhealthy. I tried for
Right.
years to get him to not be so unhealthy. That
Right.
was a failure. It
Right.
it just made our relationship
Right.
uh harder
Yeah.
because I felt like I was the person trying to change him and
Yeah.
and then I struggled with that after his death for a long time that
Right.
I just should have spent my last time with him just
Mm.
being grateful that I had him, like you said, gratitude
Mm.
and being happy that he was still here if whatever
Mm.
little time I had rather than trying to fix him.
Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
yeah, struggled a lot with that for a while and but got through that and then I decided I had to look in the mirror because I was not healthy either. And
Wow.
so here I am trying to get him to change, and I had my own demons that I had to conquer. So
Wow.
I said, in his honor, I'm going to
Wow.
change.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's kind of my story.
I love it.
Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on. Lots of insight. I mean, obviously, you're just helping children at the most critical stage of their development. And I think in a world like today, we don't, everyone is trying to uh, reach or get at children, I think, in a way that's not conducive to them having the skills and the tools to handle the better things in life. And it seems to
Mm.
me like the books that I've seen of yours are really giving them tools that'll last forever.
Lasts forever.
Yeah,
That's right. This lasts forever. This is the pleasure that lasts forever. Exactly.
I like that. Well, thank you so much, Bracha Goetz, for being on the program. Why don't you just wrap things up and let everyone know the website address that they can reach you at and buy all your books and get more information if they want to seek you out for more deeper help than we were able to accomplish today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's called Growing Impact Publications. And I'm not a business kind of person. My children do this. So they're running the business now of my books, and they have the website, and they love for you to visit. And you could download the Pleasure Ladder, right? It's with the details explaining. I tell people, put it on your fridge or on your cabinets if you have a problem with overeating. It really reminds you that there's many other ways to bring pleasure into your life besides just eating. There's many other ways to do it, because sometimes we get stuck there, and it helps you to get unstuck. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on, Bracha Goetz, and we will look forward to learning more about you at the website.
Thank you.